You said you saw Bob Hope when you were in Korea.
Yeah, I did. Each Christmas through that era, why Bob Hope would come over and entertain the GIs at Christmas time. And I really hadn't planned on going to the show, or going to his show. But we were about 2 miles from a church, and I was the duty driver on Christmas Eve. So Christmas morning, I had to take the company commander, which was Captain Tanner, and take him over. I'm Catholic, and he happened to be Catholic, so we both went to the chapel where there was a Cardinal Spellman from New York was there. It was quite an ordeal too, and I had mass. But anyhow, we were on our way back from that, and we came by where the USO was held, and that was the Red Cross nurses, and they had coffee and donuts out of a little chuck wagon kind of, and Bob Hope's show was there on a little stage right next to it, and this officer asked me if I had any idea of seeing the show. I said, well, if I could get over there, I'd like to see it. It was Christmas, and Bob Hope, why everybody would enjoy that. So he said, well, okay, he'd go on back. He'd walk back the rest of the way. It was about a mile back to our compound where we were stationed. And I went in and I got some coffee and I got a donut from the Red Cross. And I was looking, most of the troops were ready for the show. We're up on this high mountain, all on the side of the mountain, probably a couple of thousand. And then by the Red Cross wagon, there was a rope that roped off the stage where the Bob Hope show was going to perform. And so I happened to be going right by there with my coffee and donut, and Les Brown was playing at that time. He had a band and was pretty well known, and he was traveling with the Bob Hope show. And he said, let those GIs up. They had it roped off about 20 foot by about 40 foot from the stage. And you couldn't get any closer. And he says, let those guys right up the stage. So they dropped the rope right in front of me. I was basically maybe the third or fourth person to walk through there. Pretty soon everybody was cramming in to get in through there, and I lost about half a cup of coffee, and I had most of my donut squashed in my hand. And I got up and I ended up in the third row, which wasn't too bad. And I knelt down, and we had to stay down lower so the people behind us could see, but I was right there for the show, and I had my camera with me, and I took a lot of pictures. Bob Hope was there, and Les Brown and his band of renown is what they call themselves, and Jane Mansfield, if anybody had ever heard of her, she was quite a hot actress at that time and traveled with the show over there for us, and another girl by the name of Aaron O'Brien, and a fellow that dances on the Lawrence Welk show, a black fellow, and I can't remember his name. He was really good, and I've seen him on that show a number of times since I've been home. If I happen to be watching it on a Saturday night, I'll watch because of him. But they had a good show, and they were stopped and cut out certain parts or do another part over because they wanted to show the show when they got back to the United States. They always put that on TV, and so I really enjoyed that. And I took a lot of pictures, and I got back to my unit, and we sent them to Hawaii to get developed, and they came back and they turned out real good. And I don't know, maybe 6, 8